So there's a lot going on right now at the University of Oklahoma. It seems like almost every day we're seeing somebody saying, I am visiting the University of Oklahoma. And fans are excited. Fans are ready. Listen, we have a 2025 commit now. We have a 2024 commit. Things are starting to look like they're piling up for Oklahoma, right? Things seems like things are starting to go the right way. But today we got to talk about this 2025 Future Freaks list because I have finally somewhat have compiled a list of guys that I feel like were there, guys that have announced that they were there, and I want to dive into it with you guys. But before we do that, please go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. And as we have said for the past couple of weeks, if I am popping up in your feed and you're not subscribed, then what are you doing? Because I'm still going to pop up in your feed whether you subscribe or not. So go ahead, hit that like, hit the subscribe button. Let me know what you guys think about the show. Additionally, let me know what you guys think about the recent Future Freaks weekend that the University of Oklahoma held. And do you think Oklahoma can land any of these 2025 recruits? So let's start with the 2024 guys, because I think this is a great place to start for the guys that were there this past weekend. And most notably, I think it was headlined by Marcellus Williams, the 4-star cornerback. And then as well, you had 4-star cornerback Kadavian Dotson. Now, the cornerback position for the University of Oklahoma is definitely going to be pretty interesting because with their recent commitment of Newcomb, they probably only have 1 or 2 spots left, leaving room for Michael Patterson McDonald, maybe any other in-state kids that they might want to take later on. So it's going to be interesting to see what is available for the Oklahoma Sooners to take at that cornerback position. The 6-foot, 176-pound cornerback out of Bellflower, California. This would be a huge miss for USC and a big win for the University of Oklahoma because, well, it's in Dante Williams and Lincoln Riley's backyard at USC. They should be able to land guys like this. But Marcellus Williams, he has a brother, Max Williams, who is a DB. He's a DB in part of the class of USC in 2019. And then he also has another brother, Marston Williams, who was a DB for Arizona State. He was in that class of 2020. Recently got an offer from the University of Alabama on February 17th, and he is number 67 in the 247 composite ranking. So this is a big visit for the University of Oklahoma, and one that I think people are definitely going to start paying attention to because it sounds like maybe Oklahoma is gaining some traction on the recruiting trail with this kid. But another guy that I think in the 2024 class that was underrated, that was actually on campus that people need to pay attention to, was the 4-star wide receiver, 110th ranked player in the 247 composite rankings, Xavier Jordan out of Sierra Canyon High School in Chatsworth, California. The 6'1", 165-pound wide receiver, he can kind of do it all. He's got the speed. He's got length to be able to go up there and grab it. On his 100 meters, he ran an 11:09 on his 100-meter. So this is a guy where if Oklahoma needs, and we know they're going to need guys at that wide receiver position in this class, he's definitely going to be an option, and he's definitely going to be a take for the Sooners. But additionally, you had 4-star linebacker Jordan Lockhart there, 4-star wide receiver Quasi Gilmer, 4-star offensive tackle Marquise Easley, 4-star quarterback Samaj Jones. You guys have heard a lot of rumblings about how Oklahoma is potentially going to take 2 quarterbacks in this class, and you've heard that, well, these guys know that there's going to be 2 quarterbacks. So Samaj Jones definitely on the table. It looks like he might end up going to Penn State. That's kind of where the predictions are sitting right now, but never count Oklahoma out on these battles. 3-star tight end Decker DeGraff, 3-star linebacker Kamori House, 3-star wide receiver Kobe Young. Guys, you've heard Parker and Brandon talk about it many times. You know, it's an LSU battle. That's really what it is. 3-star offensive lineman Caden Massey. You've heard Parker talk about him. Stock's rising. You want to buy the stock now. 3-star defensive lineman Xavier Porter. Offensive tackle Josh Osai. I hope I said that right. He's from Edmond, Santa Fe. You guys know I got to mention that one. Offensive tackle Alexander Ruggeroli. Offensive lineman Evan McClear out of Bixby, Oklahoma. Safety Michael Patterson McDonald. You guys know he's from Oklahoma City. Cornerback Marcelo Hooker. and then cornerback Devin Jordan as well from Union High School in Tulsa. So looking at the 2024 guys, Oklahoma's still, even in a weekend where they're trying to recruit for the following or the next year, they're still getting guys on campus. And it's important to note there were over 90 recruits in Norman this weekend or this past weekend. So you can imagine this list is huge, and there's going to be guys that are obviously still not on this list that might announce that they were there later. So looking at 2025, what is, I guess, important about some of the guys that were on campus here? Well, we can start with the 5-star wide receiver, Decorian Moore. Already a 5-star. So if he's already a 5-star now, that's looking pretty good that he'll probably stay in that 5-star ranking going into the 2025 cycle. But a kid out of Duncanville, Texas, 6 foot, 180 pounds. This is going to be an Emmett Jones relationship right here. This is going to be where you're going to start leveraging Emmett Jones and his relationships with those areas, especially his Duncanville ties, right? This is it. He's got offers from 34 teams. Most, probably, two of the ones that are going to stand out to most people just off the top, Colorado and Alabama, which you might be like, Colorado? Oh, it's just because the Colorado Buffs, they're going to be getting skill guys like this. So it might be something that could be a hiccup for Oklahoma. But he's also been offered by Michigan, Nebraska, Georgia. Listen, you guys know the names. So far in his high school career, he's got 59 receptions for 1,130 reception yards and 11 receiving touchdowns. So Decorian Moore, he was on campus. That could be a guy that's catching passes from Kevin Sperry. Also, he has a relationship with Caden Knighton, a 4-star running back out of Wynnewood, Oklahoma. Guys, this 2025 class for the state of Oklahoma, it's deep. And you're going to continue to see that as we progress and talk about some of these 2025 guys. But continuing to dive a little bit into the 2025 5-stars, you had tight end Devon Mitchell there. I get it. I know he said he's going to reclassify. He hasn't reclassified yet. So we are going to keep him as a 2025 5-star until he officially reclassifies and we see where he lands in this class. Additionally, you have linebacker Kelvion Riggins. This is huge because, well, you need to be able to get in these battles early if you're Oklahoma. The 6 foot, 200-pound linebacker out of Dallas, Texas, and out of South Oak Cliff High School has 28 offers. Not as many as Decorian, but still 28 offers. And again, you're looking at offers from some of the most elite schools. He's been to Texas A&M. He's got offers from Notre Dame, Michigan. He has last year he had 55 total tackles, 12 tackles for loss, and 4.5 sacks. So Oklahoma Sooners, they really need to be able to get on this recruitment really quickly, and they need to be able to make up some ground. And it seems like that's something that they were trying to do this past weekend. Looking at some of the 4-stars that were there, you had linebacker Weston Port, athlete LaMason Waller. If you guys have seen him on the Twitters, yeah, he's been putting his brand out there. Then you have running back Torrey Baylock, and then wide receiver Elijah Thomas. Now, getting into the guys that aren't ranked yet, this is just a massive list. So bear with me. We're going to run through this, and then we'll talk about some of the guys that I think were important that are still here. So you got quarterback Kevin Sperry, OU commit quarterback Kevin Sperry, QB Ty Hawkins, athlete Drew Garner, athlete CJ Jim Cawley, athlete Tyron Washington, wide receiver Grayson Harris, wide receiver Elijah Thomas, wide receiver Jacaden Ferguson, wide receiver Fatu Makuba, wide receiver CJ Nixon, tight end Alexander Shieldknight, offensive tackle Michael Fasusi, offensive tackle Makai Stewart, offensive lineman Kelton Carver, offensive lineman Brock Heath, offensive lineman Amir Leonard Jean Charles, cornerback Terrence Edwards, cornerback Malik Hawkins, that's the brother of Michael Hawkins, cornerback Zay Gentry, cornerback Tristan Haynes, this is a guy from Carl Albert High School in Oklahoma City, safety CJ Simon from Moore, Oklahoma, safety Rohan Kazadi, Running back Ravian Larry, running back Riley Wormley, running back Cameron Settles, running back Boston Carrasco from Union High School. You have DB Matai Williams, linebacker Carter Jones, defensive lineman Tyler Parker, who, guys, this was just a freak. And if you guys paid attention, he blocked this visit. So go look up Tyler Parker. Defensive lineman Xavier Ukponu, who, yeah, we've had him here on the podcast. Defensive lineman Kamori Moore. And we've also had Kobe Sellers on as well. And also, there is one that I did not mention in terms of the 5 stars, but that's Jaden Nickens. Jaden Nickens is from Millwood, Oklahoma, another 5-star wide receiver, and one that if you're the Oklahoma Sooners, I think you feel pretty good about being able to go in there and land Jaden Nickens. So you look at it, Oklahoma could be potentially landing 2 5-star wide receivers in the same class. But, well, I guess Jaden Nickens is now a 4-star according to 247 composite, but 247 has him as number 16 overall, so he probably will be a 5-star. But Jaden Nickens only has 11 offers as of right now, currently being recruited by Brandon Hall and Emmett Jones. There's nothing to really talk about here right now in terms of these recruitments, guys, because it's still 2025. It's so far away. I think we even had, when we had Kobe Sellers on and he talked about his visit, right? That's one of the things that he talked about was that, it's the 2025 commitment date is still so far away. It's some of these guys they aren't thinking about that right now. So, but important guys that were on campus. Of course, your commit QB Kevin Sperry, right? He's actually on campus again today with some other recruits. But looking at this list, Tyler Parker, that's a guy that Oklahoma fans, you guys were on Twitter really talking about. And again, it was because, well, he got to show off what a visit looks like for a recruit of himself and his stature. He's a 6-foot, 300-pound kid out of Irvine, California, out of Crean Lutheran High School. Currently only has 7 offers. And if you look to break down that offer list, you got Arizona, California, Colorado, Incarnate Word, Miami, Notre Dame, Portland State. So if Tyler Parker is able to earn an offer from the University of Oklahoma, one, that's going to be massive in terms of his recruitment, because one thing that we've noticed is when Oklahoma offers somebody on the recruiting trail, you start to see other teams take notice and start to look because, well, it's Brent Venables, Todd Bates, and the staff, and they've earned that respect, and they've earned that from other teams, when they go off for somebody that they got to go look at them. So, yeah, Tyler Parker, latest offers from Colorado, definitely one that I think Sooner fans definitely need to be watching. I mean, he's got really good size. But looking at other guys on the list, offensive tackle Makai Stewart, I think that one's probably a very winnable battle for the University of Oklahoma. But we talked about in-state prospects for Oklahoma in 2025 and why it's going to be so good. Well, I mean, just look at it. You've got CJ Simon, the safety, cornerback Tristan Haynes, running back Boston Carrasco. You have Caden Knighton from Wynnewood, Oklahoma. You have Jaden Nickens from Millwood, Oklahoma. And guys, there are many more that necessarily weren't here, but guys that from Oklahoma that we could mention. Listen, 2025, we've talked about how good 2024 could be for the University of Oklahoma. 2025 could be that much better for the University of Oklahoma in this state. But that just means Oklahoma State's not going to get their guys that they have been getting for the past for the past decade. So, but that's it, guys. That's so far what we have on this list. And from everything that we understand, these visits went really well. It was a bigger weekend, so I was a little weary on how the staff was going to be able to spend time with these recruits and really be able to get them here. But it sounds like they did it right. They broke out into sessions. You had individual times with Venables. You had individual times with your recruiting staff. So whether it was Todd Bates, Brandon Hall, Jay Valai, Kobe Sellers was the one trying to get Jay Valai. And then you had Todd Bates with Ukponu. So, but listen, we have some other interviews coming up from some of the other guys that were on campus that weekend. So I definitely want to see you guys tune in for those. Drop down in the comments below if there's somebody that you guys want me to get on the podcast for an interview, because that also tells me that you made it to the 15-minute mark. So, but if you guys haven't already, please go ahead and hit that like and the subscribe button. Guys, let me know what you think down in the comments below about the show. Let me know if there's somebody that you want me to get on for an interview. I will definitely try to get them on. And again, if you haven't already, hit the like and the subscribe button.